Welcome back to the Daily Drop. I'm here with Ben Samaroo, Wonderfi. Okay, so I asked you before the break, but I want to give you the time to really answer it because you're really in a unique position to sort of understand and articulate the challenges here, right? Like, why don't we have? And let's stay focused on multiculturalism, people of color specifically. Why is that so difficult to get that representation at the highest levels of power in the blockchain?
So I think that challenge exists in blockchain, it exists in tech, it exists in just the corporate world in general. And I think that it layers back, many generations. I think that like for example, for me, my family, my parents were not university educated, and so there's barriers and obstacles that come in being able to get into a position like this, and that's not unique to me. But I think the interesting thing is, even as we get representation in roles like this, the big challenge is that I'm facing is that you become part of a statistic that somebody can use, which is great because it shows there's diversity at board levels and executives. But when it comes time to actually speak about the unique issues that you bring to the table as a person of color, or maybe as a woman or another underrepresented group, it's very difficult to be heard about those. And so that's really grateful to be able to speak to you on your channel about this, because what I'm finding is that in a lot of different media, people, and even just in the corporate environment, people don't want to hear about the issues that people of color have to bring to the table. And when you think about what is the reason for representation, it's not just to make people feel good about, oh, we've got Black people and brown people and this and that. It's so that you can be representative of the population. And so to me, it's a really frustrating thing, and something that I'm learning that a lot of other people that have been in my position and others have been talking about for a long time.
And look, I mean, I appreciate you taking this stand, to be honest. I mean, one thing you probably don't know about me is I have a multi-decade background as an activist, right? Like fighting for people of color, giving people jobs. So I really appreciate your perspective. But also, it is complex, right? And you would know this better than anyone because you're running, like one of the biggest companies in crypto in the world, right? Also, I love Kevin O'Leary. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go a little bit back to, so Canada, we're Canadian, right? But Canada's relationship with England, so we can understand a bit about the monarchy and how these things bleed into a culture. So what do you think of that relationship between Canada and England, like historically?
It's so my views of that have changed over time as I've gotten more educated. So I was actually born in England. My parents and my family moved to Canada. I was very young, like 2 or 3 years old. So it used to be something that I was really proud of, having this connection to Britain. And then as I learned more about my family history and what Britain has done to my ancestors very recently. I'm not talking hundreds and hundreds of years ago. It is, I mean, it's atrocious, and again, not something that's unique to my family or that group of people. It's millions and millions of Canadians have been oppressed and just irreparably harmed by the British. And I think it's something that is not really very well known for a lot of Canadians. Like, I didn't learn that growing up. It's something I had to sort of investigate on my own, and it's really changed my perspective on Canada's connection to Britain. And the last thing I'll say is yeah, I think with the Queen's passing and the transition of the monarchy, for a lot of people of color and for people that have come from nations and areas that have been colonized by Britain, it's bringing up a lot of deep-rooted things that a lot of us didn't even know that were there before.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's really complex, and we're going to go to break in a bit because there's more, right? It's not just that, because also Canada has its own history of atrocities toward the Indigenous, and we'll get into that as well. But it's an important topic. I will say we are going to focus this conversation on solutions by the end, but I do think it's important to really face this reality head on in a way that I think the world in general, but Canada in particular, doesn't seem to want to address. But Ben, look, I really do appreciate you. We're going to go to break. And we've got more with Ben Samaroo here on the Daily Job.